צריך להבהיר קצת. הנה, הוא מנקה את המקור.
Amir, just mute. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. We're just going to wait a little bit for everyone to come in. Give everybody a chance to log on. But meanwhile, we have a very special guest up on the screen down in the Negev. Alana Falcon.
Not Lanner, Saker Falcon.
Sorry, Saker Falcon. Having lunch. I think he's still got lunch in his claws there. No, you have, right?
I think it just finished eating a skylark. I think it's looking around for its next meal.
Okay. So while we watch the Saker Falcon and wait to hear its story, please let us know that you're here. Send us a message to the chat, which I'm opening up for everybody. Let us know where you're connecting from. Say hi, and we'd love to see you. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes to get officially started until people have had a chance to log on.
Just flew off, but I'll keep an eye open in it.
Okay.
It will come back.
We're going to jump to the alert screen so we have some birds to see. Welcome, Elizabeth from the Netherlands, Martina from Jerusalem, Roz from Virginia, Itamar from the Weizmann Institute, Zev in Ascalon, Barb from Gainesville, Florida. It's good to see everybody. Another Barbara from New York. Another Barbara from Newton, Massachusetts. It's the day of the Barbaras. It's great to see you all. Joe from freezing cold Winnipeg. I'm not so sure we're freezing cold here, Joe, but we're pretty cold. Bobby from Skokie. Aaron from Palo Alto. It's great to see everybody logging in from all over. Nathan from New Mexico. Anita from snowy Canada. Fantastic. Fallon, New Jersey. Judy and Jerry. Hello. Toronto. Stephen, nice to see you. We are just waiting a minute or two for more people to log on. Meanwhile, we have in our photos some great cormorants at the park in Eilat, at the reservoir down at the bird park in Eilat. Noam, is any way to focus that in a little better? It's a little blurry for us.
I'm trying.
Okay.
Yes, so the phone has a mind of its own.
Yeah. Shalom, Relisa from Uzbekistan. Fantastic. Great to see you. Hope the weather's good up there. Susan from Jerusalem. So welcome everybody. My name is Alan Casal from the Birdlife Israel, which is part of the Society for the Protection of Nature. And it's great to see you all here. We are joining you all from a cold and a little bit rainy Israel. We're not going to complain too much about the rain because we seriously need it. But the term, the title of the podcast, Spring Alive, might have been a little early, I think. It felt like spring a couple weeks ago, and now it's definitely feeling a little bit more like winter. But we're going to bring you the birds anyway. And I'm being joined today by Amir Balaban over at the Neely and David Jerusalem Bird Observatory, together with Haim Bar, who's the ringer that today, and some of the volunteers. Nadav Yisraeli is up somewhere in the north, and he'll talk about that in a little while. Noam Weiss is down at the Eilat Bird Park with the cormorants, and Yoav is in the northern Negev, trying to find us that sacred falcon that we saw just at the beginning of the broadcast. And we will talk more about that bird in a little while. But in the meantime, Noam, down in Eilat, do you want to get us started with telling us what's going on down there?
Thank you very much, Alan, and welcome everyone to Eilat. It's sunny here. Sorry about your weather up there. Um, yeah, it's sunny and nice, about 22, 23 degrees, and the sun is shining and the birds are everywhere. Yeah, spring is still ahead of us, but you can already enjoy some house martins, barn swallows, and other hirundines that are in hundreds at the bird sanctuary, but easier to show through the scope are the cormorants. They are just so lovely right now, this time of year, preparing their summer plumage for the females, and they have been starting to have fights here over the lake, just on perches or any reason to get angry at each other. They are preparing for their breeding time. So we are at the Anita Lake. It's full of fish. Looking forward for herons and kingfishers and grebes and more cormorants to come and enjoy all the good that we've prepared for them. Most migrants are still down in Africa, but we are starting to get the sense that it's coming. If you see, oh, here is a house martin just crossed the screen, and this is happening all the time. The skies here are just full of them. We have prepared some nice mosquitoes, and they are here big time, enjoying the feast. Cormorants are really interesting. Eilat, which is pretty far down south, gets sometimes almost 2,000 cormorants for winter. Most of the time they spend in a reservoir, feeding on fish that are there to clean the water. But now that the fish at the reservoir in Eliphaz are mostly gone and dead in stomachs digested by cormorants, so they arrive to the bird sanctuary, and here and there they dive down and bring a fish. They are preparing themselves to go to sleep. They are very early roosters. In about half an hour, they will all be gone to our neighbor Aqaba in Jordan to enjoy a nice evening. For the meanwhile, they are preening, they are cleaning themselves, putting some oil on their feathers, and enjoying the amazing weather. Oh, you can see they are flapping their wings to get rid of the leftovers of every drop, so they are ready to fly soon towards the roost. Yeah, that's it. Our ringing team has opened the nets just for this broadcast, and I hope we'll have some stuff to show you pretty soon. Pretty soon.
Fantastic, Noam. So we're going to jump up to Nadav. Actually, we're going to jump back to Yoav, who
Yeah.
has our Saker Falcon waiting for us.
No, actually, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Sadly, it's not the Saker yet. I think I can see it in the distance. I'll drive up to it in a minute. This is a long-legged buzzard. I'm in the northwestern Negev. It's an area with vast agricultural area, large cereal fields mainly. And in winter, big numbers of raptors come to winter here, including several globally threatened species like pallid harrier, imperial eagle, and saker. This is a long-legged buzzard, most probably from Central Asia. A nice population of them winter here. There's a lot of food here. I'll give you a quick view of the surroundings. Okay, so these are those fields. big flocks of skylark and calandra lark just flying there. I don't think you can see them, but I'll zoom back on the buzzard. So this is the famous Urim Tzelim power line with lots and lots of raptors that uses it as a perch. And so this is a long-legged buzzard. So let me check for the saker and I'll get back to you soon.
Okay, great. Thank you, Yoav. Nadav, we're coming to you.
Yes. Hi, everybody from the north part of Israel. This is me, and I'm here in the fish farm not far away from Kiryat Shmona. Kiryat Shmona is the most northern city or town in Israel. You can see it in the background just now. These are the buildings of Kiryat Shmona. The whole town was evacuated during the war last year. Some um, of the citizens of the city already came back, and some haven't. But was evacuated during citizens of the city already came back, and some haven't. But Ellen, Ellen, can you hear me well? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, so in front of the town of Kiryat Shmona, I hope you can see. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, again, phone with a mind of its own. But we are looking at the moment at a small flock of flamingos. Flamingos are not that common in Israel, apart from, I don't know, close to 1,000 flamingos north of Eilat, Noam. Correct me if I'm wrong, and the number is different than what I said. But in the past year, we're seeing more and more flamingos in other parts of the country. Also in the north, like a couple of hundreds here and there. And the flamingos here are just okay. Something is happening with the Zoom, Ellen. People are complaining, or is it just me?
Trying to fix it, guys.
Okay. So maybe I'm having some troubles as well. So maybe you go to Jerusalem, and I'll try to fix it and come back to you later. Okay?
No, I have the saker. I have the saker.
Okay. So go to yours.
Okay, so I relocated the saker. I'll just adjust my scope. A few minutes ago, it flew out for a quick hunting attempt, and it landed back on the pylon. Can you see it now? Just to the left of the pylon.
Yes, we see it.
I hope that everyone can see it. This is really one of the world's rarest falcons. Globally endangered, mainly because of hunting, because it's being hunted. In Israel, it's extremely rare. In fact, it is the one individual in Israel now. One saker is wintering in Israel this year. Such a small population. It's on the verge of extinction in Israel. There's one individual here, and this is the one saker. It's a young saker, hatched this year somewhere, or in 2024, somewhere in Central Asia, and it came to spend the winter here. It's been here since before Christmas. And in Israel, I'm afraid it's not safe either. You may know that in the Middle East, there's extreme pressure on falcons by trappers, by poachers, trapping falcons for the falcon trade. And indeed, in Israel, this falcon is under threat as well. Since it arrived in December, we have been operating a project. It's called the Falcon Guardians, together with the Israel Nature and Parks Authority, together with us, the Birdlife Israel. And we're guarding this specific falcon and a few other large falcons in the area, peregrines and lanners, from poachers, from trappers. We have volunteers and staff working here day after day from dawn till dusk, looking out for trappers. Of course, this is totally illegal in Israel, but some people in Israel, I'm afraid, try anyway. In the last couple of weeks, our volunteers managed to intercept 4 trapping attempts. And this bird is still free and alive. One of the trapping attempts that was intercepted ended up in an arrest. So the culprits were arrested. And the other 3 cases, they managed to escape before being arrested. But we are on it all the time, looking around, looking for suspicious vehicles, looking for people who aren't supposed to be here. There are some farmers here working, but people who aren't supposed to be here, we're looking out for them. And this bird will probably be here for another couple of weeks before it flies back to Central Asia. I really, really hope that it will stay safe until it leaves. This afternoon, just when I arrived, I did spot a suspicious vehicle when it was driving out. It may have been the trappers collecting information. Maybe tomorrow they'll try here, but again, our team will be here tomorrow morning guarding this precious, precious, precious falcon, and we'll keep doing it as long as it's necessary when this bird is here before it migrates off. This one and the other large falcons in the area, as I said, there are a couple of lanners and a few peregrines as well, and they're under threat. But this is really the holy grail. It's the largest and most powerful falcon. It's really huge, and it's an amazing hunter. Just before we started, I saw it flying out of the field and catching a skylark. It came back to a pylon and it ate it, and now it looks like it's looking for its next meal. So this is the Saker falcon, really one of the rarest birds in Israel. As I said, there's only one individual in Israel that we know of, only one. So it's quite a privilege to be able to show you this bird live in this webinar.
And
we are in the northwestern Negev, not far
Noah,
from Ofakim.
you were telling me earlier that there is a program to tag any Barbary and Lana falcons that are hatched in Israel.
Indeed, we have a collaborative project that's protecting the breeding raptors of Israel, collaboration between SPNI, BirdLife Israel, Israel Nature and Parks Authority, and the Israel Electric Company. We tag the breeding raptors in Israel, including lanners and Barbary falcons. It's a race of peregrine that breed in the desert in an attempt to learn about their movements and about the threats to them. We attach GPS tags to all the chicks that we are able to reach, and these birds fly around. And unfortunately, or very sadly and tragically, every large falcon that leaves Israel to the neighboring countries gets trapped by trappers. It's in Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Yemen, Syria, even in Turkey. The network of trappers, falcon trappers, is amazing and frightening. And they just trap 100% of our tagged birds. So the pressure on these birds is enormous. And indeed, many of these species are under threat. And as I said, this Saker, it doesn't breed here. It breeds in Central Asia. It's in global threat, globally endangered. It's the second highest threat status. So the pressure on these falcons in the Middle East is enormous. And that's why we work so intensively to protect this falcon and other falcons in Israel as well.
Thank you, Yoav. It's really a pleasure.
I'm switching to another location.
Okay, thank you. So let's go quickly to the Jerusalem Bird Observatory where Amir and Chaim are standing by. Amir, you just need to unmute.
So good afternoon, ladies and gents. We're here in Jerusalem, freezing cold, preparing for spring, actually. Like our birds, still most of the vegetation in Jerusalem is dormant, and it's been rainy and chilly. Basically, we've had our first winter spell during the last week, and we're monitoring here the birds with our team, Chaim, Gabriel, Kim, and we're monitoring the birds such as this blackcap. This blackcap is a wintering warbler that comes to Israel from Central Europe. It stays with us for the whole winter. During the last few years, it has become a regular wintering bird. Once it was a very rare wintering bird. It migrated way down to Africa. But, when we're talking about climate change and warmer winters, this also finds opportunity. This is an opportunity for many birds to change their migration behavior. So this male blackcap, and you can see it's a male, it has a black cap, has been with us basically from September, and it's been caught regularly. And we can actually see how it prepares for migration, changing and molting the flight feathers and also gaining weight. So once this bird is tagged, banded, or ringed, it's released back into the wild through this window. And it will carry on with its preparations for the migration. With the blackcaps, we have another bird from Central and Eastern Europe. It's a very pretty bird, beautiful song. It's also very territorial during winter time. And this is the Eurasian robin. A very, very beautiful songbird, also a very colorful bird. And it's an insectivorous bird and feeds also on little fruit, autumn fruit, and smaller insects. And it usually lives in the Mediterranean scrub underneath the oak trees and turpentine trees. So it's a very common wintering bird. Also, a very I would say iconic bird for Jerusalem and the JBO. So this bird also has been monitored all winter long. It's preparing for migration, and it will leave us in the beginning of March. Another bird that is awaiting release is a larger bird, a non-native bird that has become native, basically. This is the palm dove. The palm dove originates from Africa, and it probably arrived to our region with Muslim pilgrims during the Muslim conquests a few hundred years ago.
It's a laughing dove, Amir, laughing dove, not palm dove.
Palm dove, laughing dove. Anyway, it's a relatively large dove, and you can see it has beautiful purple colors. This is probably a male gaining his summer plumage, and this is one of the hints that spring is coming when males start gaining their colorful feathers. And this bird is a very common bird all over Israel, mainly in cities, in farmland, and also in the open spaces, and it has become a native bird, basically. And it nests everywhere. If you put a pot on your windowsill, you have to count up to 10, and you have a female incubating eggs. It's a very, very successful bird. And this one too Off it
Amir,
goes.
Amir, with all due respect to your laughing dove, can I jump in because I have another very rare bird?
All right,
Alan?
let's jump back to Yoav in the Negev.
Even better than a laughing dove.
Even better than a laughing dove. Sorry, Amir.
And then we'll jump to
So,
Nadav afterwards.
this is an imperial eagle, an adult imperial eagle. It's an enormous eagle. It's quite a long way out. It's the size of a golden eagle. Again, a globally threatened species. It's in the threat category of vulnerable, with a global population of less than 10,000 individuals. This is an adult bird. You can see the golden nape and the white on the shoulders. It's quite an adult bird, as I said, very, very beautiful, very rare. In Israel, Israel is one of the important places for them in winter. We have a breeding population of, a wintering population of maybe 100 individuals across the country, probably even less than that. And a fair proportion of them is here in this region where I am, in the northwestern Negev, sort of west of Beersheba. And they spend the winter here, feed on whatever they can in the fields, including on the dead stuff they find, carcasses. And as well, they use this line of pylons in the Negev as a perch. They look out for their food from here. So they breed in Central Asia as well, in the steppes of Central Asia, and come to spend the winter here. They're in Israel between November and March, more or less. And this immediate region where I am, in the northwestern Negev, there are about 10 or 12 different individuals. I'll show you again how the area looks like. So these are the fields. You can see the pylon. Maybe you can even see the eagle on the pylon there.
Yeah, we can just about make it out. And
Sun
Yoav,
is coming
are they
down.
eating the same food as the Saker was eating? The skylarks and stuff like that?
Sorry, can you ask again?
What's their food source? Is it the same as the Saker, the skylarks?
Probably they're not such agile hunters like the Saker. They'll probably go for maybe pigeons, maybe there's some lapwings around, and well, I don't know, maybe some mammals. I don't know if there's a rabbit or something like that in the area.
I
Okay, it's
saw a
maybe going to
fox.
fly soon. Look at the powerful, powerful legs and a big bill. So that's an imperial eagle.
I've seen an eagle like that going down on a fox in the Negev a few years
Wow.
back.
Indeed, they're very big and powerful. There aren't too many small mammals in the area, but there are a few, and birds as well. There's a growing population of cranes in the wintering in the Negev. No, it's not ringed. Yes, and I assume that, like in the Hula Valley, they feed on cranes that die from different reasons. So that's what they eat here.
Fantastic. Okay, so I hate to leave the eagle, but we're gonna jump up to Nadav, who is in northern Israel. Nadav, how are you? What have you got to show us up down there?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
You're a little out of focus.
Yeah,
There we go.
is it,
Fantastic.
is it better now?
Yep.
Okay, so we're looking together at an young individual of a flamingo. Maybe it's gonna poke its head in the water and feed a little bit. Um, I'm going to take the phone out of my scope and try and show you the area where I'm at. These are the mountains of the Galil. Just behind this ridge is the border with Lebanon. And this is Kiryat Shmona in the background, and Mount Hermon in the northeast part of the valley, covered with snow and clouds at the moment. And this is the kind of habitat. I mean, this whole valley was okay. You back with me?
Yeah.
The Hula Valley was big wetland until the beginning of the 1950s, and then it was drained, and parts of it were turned into fish ponds, fish farms, like this two that I'm standing just between in at the moment. And when we're talking about rewilding or reconstructing wetlands in Israel, this is part of what we're looking for. Fish farms that are going to be out of business or not used. Okay, yeah, you still with me?
Yep.
Okay, or not in use like they used to be. And this is exactly what we are looking for, because the farmers of this fish farm, um, maybe they'll be willing to cooperate with us and to turn this fish farm back to sort of a nature farm, or to reconstruct it as the kind of habitat that used to be before they erected this fish farm in here. And this particular one at the moment is not in our scope, but um several others are very much in our scope, and we are in some places we are already in contacts with fish farmers in the Hula Valley to rewild their fish farms into natural wetlands. It's a very exciting, inspiring project that we are working on, and hopefully, um, when we when we do that, those reconstructed fish farms will have something for everybody. I mean, if you see at the back of this flamingo, there's a teal, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a small duck called a teal, and you can see that different birds are using different niche in the same habitat. Uh, the flamingos are usually they're wading through the water and filtering the water for um, for little crabs, and the teals are filtering the water for, and the other ducks, most of them are feeding on vegetation. And we are at the moment we're looking at a small flock of shell ducks. Okay, and the songbirds feeding on insects will have their insects to feed on in those habitats, and hopefully large raptors like the eagles and the falcon that Yoav just showed us in the Negev. Some of them are here in the Ula Valley as well. They will have enough food in there as well. So we're going to hopefully we're going to create uh, the habitat and the entire ecosystem that will provide uh, uh, something for everybody.
Belen, I have a migratory bird.
Yeah, go back to Amir then.
Well, ladies and gents, I have a migratory bird, a little warbler called a whitethroat. And this common whitethroat is a bird that just arrived from Africa, and it will probably nest in the eastern part of the Mediterranean. It loves thistle fields around farmlands and mustard fields, and it thrives on little insects. This looks like a female, and it's one of the commonest warblers migrating through Israel, and it also nests around Jerusalem. So this is the first sign of spring, together with a few more things that I will soon show you. So this is a lesser whitethroat, just arrived, and I hope it finds a good territory around Jerusalem.
Lesser or greater?
This is the common white throat.
Common right.
And the last thing I want to show you from the JBO is the beautiful almond trees that are now flowering all over Jerusalem. Look at it. It's fantastic. It's one of the prettiest sights we have midwinter, beginning of spring. And we are very close to Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat is next week. So you can see how the almond trees are completely in full bloom. It's a beautiful, beautiful season. The almond flowers are also full of nectar, so a lot of
Amir, we're
birds will
losing your
come
picture.
and feed on the nectar.
Amir, we're losing your signal. Okay, till we get Amir back, I'm jumping to Noam. Noam, how's it going down in Eilat? It looks like you
Hi,
have...
welcome back. So I
Back
can
to
show
you.
you nothing rare, but so beautiful is the black-winged stilt. Look how fragile and an amazing bird this one is. And it's just been sitting, walking here, waiting here for the last 10 minutes, eating non-stop. If you try count how much times did it eat something, an insect in the water, in the last 10 minutes, it's just 3 figures, I think. So it's a really, really nice one here. And he has a replacement right now in the frame. That's the red shank. If the stilt is here all year round and breeding with us, here is the red shank. Found a small dead fish, I think, and it's trying to feed on it. It's a bit too big for it usually. So yes, lots of shorebirds are here on our lakes, trying to get some insects, some water insects, and all kinds of things to eat. I think they are preparing for migration that will start pretty soon, and it's gonna be tough. These birds go to Northern Europe. They have a long way to make, but they have still enough time here to get enough food. So they are flying in good condition. I try to move somewhere
Do
here.
the stilts nest in Eilat?
The stilts nest in Eilat, yes, they do. Oh, look what's here. That's a water pipit. You see it. It's a beautiful, beautiful water pipit, which is also, they are all doing the same thing. There are so many insects in this water pool that it's pretty new. It's about 5 years old, was built with the help of Ministry of Tourism. And there are so many insects here that so many birds come and just enjoy the abundance of food. Here's another chap, that's a white wagtail. You see, these are real famous in Israel with their black collar. Every kid in kindergarten knows them because of a famous song. So a lot of people are coming to watch the wagtails. And this is pretty much the last months you can still see them around the bird sanctuary before they leave and go back to breed somewhere in Europe. These are a pretty common winter bird down here. Wagging its tail just non-stop, just looking for movement, creating some movement. And who is that? Just, oh, look at this one. That's a blue throat. That's a blue throat. It's kind of nightingale, which is also pretty common right now, always running with its tail up. And again, the abundance of insect here is really allowing so many birds to enjoy abundance of food in a very crucial point of their journey. They cross the Sahara Desert, they arrive here, and they need the food to recover from the long flight and prepare for continuing their journey towards their breeding ground. We are back with the red shank. I think this one spent here most of the winter, as not all of them go down to South Africa like most of the population. Some of them decide to make it easy life and stay with us for the winter. So also the journey later on will be shorter and easier for them. So I hope you enjoy this amazing birding here at the Eilat Bird Sanctuary. But yet, what you must see, this is my scope. Oh, something got stuck. Look at the view. This is us, and as you can see, at least the weather says spring.
And
And
of
also
course,
the swallows above.
Noam, we're all waiting to come down there in just a few weeks to the Eilat Bird Festival that starts on the 23rd of March, followed by Champions of the Flyway. So all the birders and the teams for Champions of the Flyway will be descending on Eilat
Yes,
on April 1st for the big bird race that we have here in Israel. And the bird park will be hosting us. And hopefully spring will be in full force with all the migrants coming through. And
yes,
this year, Champions of the Flyway is going to be raising money to support the conservation efforts here in Israel for the common tern and the little terns to help build new nesting sites along the coast for these birds that migrate around the country, the world, but then come back here for their nesting season. And it's a very important project, and we hope that you will help us to support the teams. I will send a link to Champions of the Flyway in the chat if anybody is interested in helping to support the teams in this very vital project. So let's
yes. And
yeah.
we are excited to say that teams from around the world are joining the Champions of the Flyway, which is a surprise, and we are very happy about it. Just to the Turkish team, very interesting. Origin has confirmed participation.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let's head back to Amir. You have any new birds up there in Jerusalem? Go from the sunny south to the cold mountains of Jerusalem or the hills of Jerusalem. What have you got for us, Amir?
But we still have some birds. Surprisingly, this cold spell is surprisingly fruitful. We have a very fruitful afternoon with lots of birds. And here I have one of the local birds, a beautiful male great tit. And this is a retrap. This is one of our local birds. And in Hebrew, we call them yargazi, the angry one. And you can see it's a very, very aggressive little bird, understandably. And this is a male. And you can see that he has a shiny cap. And this is also a spring feature. They are now already singing in certain parts of the country, the warmer areas. They're already nesting in nest boxes, in crevices. Oh, did you hear that? This is an alarm call. He was basically telling his friends outside the JBO that there's a crazy person here catching birds and putting rings on their legs. So yeah, you can see this is a male. He has a very dark tie, starts in the neck area and extends to the belly. And it is a very, very beautiful bird, very colorful. One of two species we have in Israel. This is the gray tit, and we also have another species in Mount Hermon. This is basically a woodland bird. Okay, so Israel is not very woody, so we have only two species here, unlike Northern Europe or North America. Let's check out with the Chaim how many years this bird has been a member of the JBO. He's going to read the ring on the leg, and all the data collected through the lifespan of this great tit is registered here on our database. So a lot of people ask us, why do we bother ringing local birds? The longevity of these birds and their movements, their micro movements in the JBO is very, very important. Wow. Okay, this bird was born in the JBO in April 23. And we've been monitoring this bird constantly. It's been caught nearly once a month, and we know where its territory is. And that means, oh, that's a beautiful call. That means this, Chaim's going to weigh the bird. So this bird is 2.5 years old, which is about average for a great tit. They can reach the age of 6, 7 years old, sometimes even more rarely. And they have a very important role in the woodland system. They are the alarm call for songbirds. They will identify the sparrowhawk and notify everybody that there's danger around. So it has a very important role in the woodland system. It also helps us identify the sparrowhawk when it comes to our bird hide and to our pond. So this is the great tit, a beautiful, colorful bird with a very nice temper. So back it goes into the wild.
And Amir, I know I've been hearing the great tits around my house singing away already. I think they also thought it was spring last week. I'm sure they're calling there as well, right?
Yes, they're singing everywhere, and some of them are already incubating eggs.
Fantastic. And I see that Noam has the special bird observatory, JBO bird.
Yep.
So
Chaim is monitoring a yellow-vented bulbul or a spectacled bulbul. Yoav will notify me if I'm saying the name
spectacles.
correctly. And this is definitely the JBO mascot. And you can see we chose the yellow-vented bulbul as our mascot because it's a very local bird, very common. Everybody knows the bulbul. It's very common in Hebrew songs, and every kid laughs when they hear the name of the bulbul because it's like, a mixed up bulbul mevulbal. In Hebrew is, someone silly, mixed up. And it's also a nickname for the male penis. So whenever we catch a bulbul, all the kids are, smirking and laughing. And it's an easy bird to observe from our hide. They come to the Niman Pond, which is just outside our hide. And and the reason and so yeah, they're very easy to observe. So we decided to choose a common bird that everybody can relate to. The name, by the way, bulbul is in all languages, in Arabic, in Persian, in Hebrew, in Arabic, in French, in Russian. You just have to change the pronunciation. For example, bulbul in French is bulbul. In Russian, it's bulbul. In Persian, it's bulbul, etc., etc. I think you got the idea. So, yeah, we love the bulbul, and the bulbul loves the JBO. I think we catch a lot of bulbuls here, and they're still very successful. This looks like a female. They're a bit smaller than the male, and that's it. That's the difference. Gender-wise, it's very hard to differentiate between the male and the female in the field. So you have to hold them and measure them. The females are slightly smaller, and they're also called spectacle bulbuls because they have these nice spectacles, white spectacles that become whiter when we advance into spring.
Amir, I don't know if all our listeners know that the Bird Observatory was the first urban wildlife site in Israel. But also, we know that we monitor and ring the migrating birds in order to keep track of migration and learn a little bit about where birds are coming from and going and so on. But why are we ringing the local birds who nest in Israel?
Yeah, well, the JBO has just celebrated 30 years, which is quite amazing that we've been active for 30 years, working on our ringing program, training young conservationists. So we're not only proud that we catch and monitor and help protect bird habitats in Jerusalem and all over the country with our team. We're also very proud that we produce many young conservationists, people who go into education, science, and just our true nature enthusiasts that without them, we won't be able to protect nature in Israel. The threat of overdeveloping and is severe. We see it everywhere, all over the country. So we need as many conservationists as we can train and get them into action wherever we can. So the JBO is a real hub for this type of work. And, spring is coming. If you are planning a visit to Israel during Passover, we'll be ringing every morning from March 1st till May 31st. And it's a lovely way to spend the morning here. And also Gazelle Valley Park, which will be opening a new observation center. So you're really welcome to come. And, looking at the larger picture, we've just had quite a challenging year and a half. So when you start coming back to Israel to visit, I think, getting back to normality is a must. And we have to keep on focusing on our work on conservation, on education, and on research. And with your support, we can carry on full force.
Thank you, Amir. I'm going to take us back to Noam in the south because I see he's got some interesting birds in his screen. And someone is asking what time of year do they work in the ringing station? They open the nets before dawn and keep going until it gets too warm or too cold or too rainy.
First coffee is 7:30.
First coffee is 7:30. Okay, Noam, what's we got down there?
Okay, so I'm back to Lake Anita, the main lake at the bird sanctuary, and activity here is high. These are the coots, and the little grebes are cruising the lake back and forth. Each one has a different role. If the coot is basically, it's gone to the other side now. So if the coot is basically the cleaner, doing some cleanup, making sure that all the loose leaves have been eaten, anything is a little bit rotten or dead, it is gonna clean it. While the little grebes are busy most of the time fighting themselves, and when they have other things to do, they catch fish diving under the water. So we have a pretty cute flock and noisy flock here of little grebes at the bird sanctuary. They're here all the time, entertaining the people who come here, diving back and forth, usually coming up with a nice fish in their bill.
Yeah.
Alan, sorry, can I jump in for a second?
Yes, sure.
Hang on. Sorry, we'll come back to you, Yoav. Noam, sorry. Yoav, I'm coming to you.
Okay, so it's almost dark here in the Negev. It's a bit gloomy here, so the sun is behind the clouds and it's getting dark. And I found a few lapwings, northern lapwings, getting ready for the night, I think. It looks like that's what they're doing. So there's a small flock here. I think actually one has been recorded in North America in recent days. I don't remember exactly where. So it's a vagrant to North America, but it's quite a widespread Eurasian bird. They're winter visitors in Israel. They come here for the winter. You can see very nicely the crest. We do have still sizable flocks in Israel, but their numbers certainly have dropped in recent decades, reflecting the population decline in Europe. So in Europe, they're farmland birds. They breed in farmland. And like many other farmland species, they're not doing well at all. and they're losing their breeding habitats, and as a result, the population is declining, and we are seeing fewer. Still, indeed, in some parts of Europe, in the UK, there are still quite many, but the numbers certainly have dropped in Israel and in parts of the world. And indeed, the northern lapwing is globally threatened. I think it's in the threat category of either northern near threatened or vulnerable. And these are probably the last birds that I'll be able to show today because it is getting quite dark here.
Yoav, I know you weren't able to find us some black kites, but would you like to talk about what's been happening in Israel with the black kites in the last week or two?
Sure. So there's another lapwing. Here's one a bit more upright. Okay, yeah. So I'm not far from the main concentration of black kites in Israel. They roost maybe 10 kilometers or 7-8 miles away from where I am at the moment. Black kite is one of the commonest raptors, birds of prey in the world, and certainly the commonest wintering raptor in Israel. Something like 100,000 winter in Israel every year. They come from Western Asia, Eastern Europe, like Ukraine, Russia, the Caucasus, places like that. And they're very, very attached to landfill sites. In the last couple of weeks, we had an ongoing poisoning incident. Maybe you saw it in the news. It did certainly they make the news in Israel. I'm not sure it made the news outside of Israel. It was one of the most massive wildlife poisoning incidents we've had in Israel, well, at least in modern history. Over 1,000 black kites died in this poisoning incident. It wasn't an intentional poisoning incident. It was unintentional. It was done by farmers using a pesticide against nematodes like ground worms, earthworms in an onion field, and all kinds of different circumstances sort of converged together and ended up in a massive, massive, massive poisoning incident. It happened over 5 or 6 days. The Nature and Parks Authority rangers and our volunteers and our staff worked there to try and chase away more and more kites that were coming to drink from puddles that contained the poison in that field. And some of the puddles were drained, but it was a very, very significant and horrific disaster. But I hope that using this incident, we'll manage to ban this pesticide. Its commercial name is Nemacor. It's an organic phosphoric pesticide. It is banned in the USA. It is banned across the EU, but not in Israel yet. So I hope that now with the intensive pressure that we're applying on the relevant government agencies, we will manage to ban this pesticide and other organic phosphorus pesticides as well.
Thank you, Noam. Someone was asking whether the raptors we've been seeing are nocturnal.
No, they're all diurnal, so they're actually going to sleep now.
Great, fantastic. Okay, so I'm gonna say goodbye to the Negev and Yoav and take us for a final look at what's going on in Eilat. Noam, you ready for us?
Yes, of course. So
Thank you, Yoav.
the little grips are still down here at the lake, but look at this one hiding on above them. That's a squawko heron. You see, it's so difficult to spot it. And here it is, hiding there. Oh, it's a little bit hidden It was sitting there all morning and was camouflaged. It's waiting for fish to pass by and then gonna catch them. But it's not the only bird. The whole lake now is really full of birds. The cormorants are still here. There's a beautiful, beautiful gray heron here, just waiting for the evening to come. I think she had enough of the day. I saw her eating here lots of fish this morning, so she was doing pretty good. And the only one which is just waking up, that's the night heron. So we also have a bunch of them right here at the lake, and I think they are getting ready for the night. This is their showtime. It's a beautiful one right here, and they'll be doing their squawk call very, very often when it's getting dark right here. And in the meanwhile, the area just swarms with swallows. I don't know if you can. Something happened. Okay, I'm out. Am I out or? Okay, sorry.
You're still in, Noam. You're still in.
Yes, my phone decided to drop that. Anyway, I don't know if you can realize it, but the air here just swarms with swallows of all kinds. I can see the rock martin, the house martin, the barn swallow, the red-rumped swallow, and I think there are a few bank swallows as well. And here are the cormorants preparing for a flight towards the roost. So this is a beautiful moment here at the Eilat Bird Sanctuary. I'll pass it again back to you, Ellen. Bye bye.
So I'm keep the picture up for a minute while we say goodbye.
Okay.
On behalf of Yoav in the Negev.
Yeah. Alan, if you want to spotlight, I have one final Imperial Eagle going to sleep.
Right. One Imperial Eagle going to sleep. So fantastic to see those guys. So on behalf of Yoav down in the Negev, Noam down in Eilat, Nadav, who was up in the Hula Valley area, and Amir and Chaim and the crew in Jerusalem. I want to say thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to be here with you all and to invite you to watch with us around the country. We look forward to seeing you in person here in Israel sometime soon. I know that there's a couple people online who are coming to the Eilat Bird Festival. We'll be having the Hula Bird Festival in November, and we're ready to receive you and take you birding whenever you come. So take care, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay warm if you're somewhere cold, like Jerusalem, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.